Good. Yay! All right, thank you for all you who are silently praying or sending good wishes to the IT folks. Okay, so we are on our Facebook live stream, and welcome to the last of our midweek Lenten programs. It's flown by, and I think, and yet it's still winter outside. We started this. Our theme is letting go and cultivating, and so Lent, the season of Lent, is split right in the middle between winter and spring. And so, what should have happened was that the first 3 weeks would have been wintry, and then the last would have been springish, and, well, it's at least not snowing. So maybe this weekend we'll get more. So before I introduce Kate, I wanted to, from the Seed Farm, we're going to do a very short devotional and welcome. And as we, again, end this midweek Lenten time together and moving into this, hopefully, season of cultivating and bringing about some things maybe within our lives, maybe within our gardens or visiting a garden. And so, Kate, when we planned this, I was very literal with the last day. And I thought it would be great to talk about cultivating literally and what kind of seeds and what kind of hope is around us in our community. But before we get there, just a couple announcements while I have you. Of course, Sunday begins our Holy Week. We will be together for Palm Sunday celebration Sunday morning. If you would like to participate in any of our Holy Week readings, we'd love to have you. I can talk to you more about that. I know you've seen it before, but you'll see it again on email and in the bulletin on Sunday around all of our Holy Week, just to remind you that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will be virtual only, and that's going to be either Facebook Live or Zooming with us. So we'll share that information again. As we move into Easter and our celebration of Easter, and I'm glad Warren's here, I can point to you. Our Easter Dawn is going to be a wonderful event. We have the promise of 4 brass players, a brass quartet from the Easton Band, 6 a.m., and Warren, we have a promise of breakfast after that. So if you're planning on coming, and no worries if you can't, but if you can sign up just for the breakfast, that would be helpful for planning purposes. And that sign up is right in the back. I saw that. On Saturday, before we get into Holy Week, we'll be together for our Easter egg hunt. And we have lots of kids signed up. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be warm. It's going to be sunny. And if you would like to, and if you're able to, on Friday morning at 10 o'clock, we're going to be stuffing lots and lots of eggs. So you would be welcome to join us on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. And then on Saturday, I forgot to ask Sue, but would you like some helpers to come around? Okay. Yes. I'll be here and planning on asking some, so maybe 12? Okay. So about noon around, let us know if you can help. It's fun. And if anybody, should I make the other announcement? No? Okay. Talk to me later about other responsibilities that we, okay, good. Yeah, that's a good call. Okay, finally, we have some stickers that talk about embrace hope, that is left over from an event Sue was at. They're in the back. They're really beautiful. Make nice laptop water bottle stickers. So, okay, lots of stuff in the back. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Let's see. So letting go and cultivating. Our theme, again, as we worked through these weeks with, again, different speakers or versions of this, was looking at, again, these 3 concepts: letting go of fear, anxiety, and doubt. And the flip side of the curriculum was balancing those and trying to find ways to work on cultivating calm, confidence, and hope. We went still up around here. We talked about 10 guideposts, so 10 different ways of thinking in a more modern sense, maybe, of maybe things that we would want to work on letting go of, and things that we'd want to work on cultivating. And it's kind of like a personality test. We found ourselves maybe gravitating towards one or two. There were definitely little clusters, if you remember, of folks that were embracing one or two of these guideposts. There were 10 of these guideposts. Part of what I thought we could do, just very briefly, as kind of a prayer exercise, is to go through these guideposts one by one and just read them. And as we do that, in the beginning of our Lenten season, we did some origami, or some of you tried to, and I tried to as well. And the origami tree here is our birds of things that we maybe have prayed about letting go of. So I would love if I could have a helper to take off our origami birds of letting go, and then I'm going to tell you what to do next. Dina, thank you. It's like a magician. So I'm going to read one by one, and if you would, as we think about letting go, we'll take off a bird. Some of these are not birds, they're just different things, but so I'm going to bend down so you can see. So letting go of what other people think. Letting go of perfectionism. You can take off another bird. Yeah, you can just throw them out if you like. Throw them down. Oh, look at that. Okay, well, we'll work with that. Letting go of numbing and powerlessness. Letting go of scarcity and the fear of dark. Letting go of the need for certainty. Letting go of comparison. Letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth. Letting go of anxiety as a lifestyle. Letting go of self-doubt and supposed to. Letting go of cool and always in control. Now, Dina, you shouldn't have volunteered so quickly. There are some more birds, and these are our spring birds. Oh no, okay, well.
See, you should have told me that.
Sorry. You were being so neat. Well, pick out the colorful ones, and if you could find a place to put our birds, these are our birds of, yes. These are birds of cultivating, and so again, trying to move into this. There you go. Yes. Cultivating authenticity, cultivating self-compassion, cultivating your resilient spirit, cultivating gratitude and joy, cultivating intuition and trusting faith, cultivating creativity, cultivating play and rest, cultivating calm and stillness, cultivating meaningful work, and cultivating laughter, song, and dance. And I think we should have 10 or so. Sure. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you. So our tree of cultivating, we'll just leave that here for tonight. And at the end of tonight, if you would like to take any things off the wall, those are all going to come down, or take any of the guideposts home. They're in the back as well. So thank you for bearing with me. Finally, before again we get into learning a little bit more about the seed farm, as we move into this cultivating of hope, I wanted to share this quote that was from Vaclav Havel. This was shared at the Campbell Lecture at DeSales with David Lamont. When we think about cultivating hope, we might think about optimism. And I really liked what he had to say on Thursday night about what hope is and what optimism is. So hope is not prognostication. It is an orientation of the spirit. So it's a movement of the spirit. And what Lamott had to say about hope, hope is not optimism. It isn't defined by the odds. It's rather defined by where we point our lives, sometimes in spite of how we feel, rather than because of it. So hope, in the end, is a choice rather than a circumstance, as we choose it when we do, because we don't know where it will lead. Sometimes, in spite of reasonable predictions to the contrary, amazingly wonderful things happen. Sometimes we give it our best, and it all goes south anyway. I like that, kind of describes my gardening. So hope as being an orientation, as being somewhere that we are pointing our lives, that we have an action in that. And I liked that and wanted to share that with you. So as we begin, let's just bow for a moment of prayer and we'll be together. God of hope, of confidence, of calm, thank you for guiding us through this program, this time, this season of Lent. Guide our spirits as we continue to work on the ways that we cultivate your presence within our lives and this presence within the lives of others. We thank you for blessing us and allowing us to be together this evening. Amen. Well, we're going to switch PowerPoints here. And I will introduce, I don't really have much to introduce you, so I'll assume that Katie can introduce herself maybe a little bit as we get started. I forgot to do any research on you. Oh, no. But I know that you're rather new. Didn't do any research on you. Oh, good. Well, we'll make it. Yes. So, but I'm so glad you're here from the seed farm. I live down the street, and that was kind of why I thought I want to hear more about it. So you all get to hear more about it because I wanted to. But I'm so glad, Katie Hunter from the seed farm, and I will take all my things.
This does have a couple videos in it. So will the sound be able to play or not? Not so much.
We can skip over them. Sure. We'll turn it up and then see how it might not. Okay. Sure. And I can be your next slide turner if you would like me to. Sure.
So when Janelle asked me, I told her that. When Janelle asked me to come speak for tonight, then I told her that this would be practice for me because I've only been working at the seed farm for about 3 months now. So I'm new to the organization, not super new to farming. I farm with my partner in Forks. We have community-supported agriculture farm, so it's kind of a very small scale farm, growing produce, growing vegetables and flowers for people in the community. And now I'm working at the Seed Farm, which is a nonprofit, and it's a farm business incubator program. So you might have heard of business incubator programs that people go to when they have some idea and they need the facility and the marketing help and things like that. And we're that for farmers, for people who want to get into farming. The seed farm is in Emmaus. It's on, well, let me just read off my sheet a little bit so I don't miss anything. The project was started by Lehigh County, and it's in Lehigh County, and it grew out of the county's very successful farmland preservation program, which we were talking with this gentleman, or maybe you prefer to go by fellow, I didn't catch your name, Sam. We're talking about all the warehouses that have been going up. So there's a large farmland preservation program all across the country, in the state of Pennsylvania, and also here in the counties. Lehigh County, Northampton County are preserving a lot of farmland. Lehigh County is preserving a lot of farmland, putting a lot of money into it. So the county has
I think this is an old figure, actually. I wrote on here 23,000 acres of farmland, but I think it's much more than that at this point. And that's preserved as active farmland. That means that the land must be farmed in the future and cannot be developed. So it can't have a warehouse put on it, which I think is important to a lot of people, and certainly important to me. And the seed farm was started because farmers are aging out. Not a lot of people are getting into farming as a profession. And so people were seeing that we needed to cultivate a new generation of farmers to take over farming that land. So the Seed Farm was an independent nonprofit organization for many years, and then in 2019 merged with Community Action of the Lehigh Valley, which is a large nonprofit here, and was put under Second Harvest, became a project of Second Harvest Food Bank because of our mutual interests in fostering resilient regional food systems. That overlap in the missions of the two organizations. And the Seed Farm is a very small nonprofit, so we fit within Second Harvest structure. So this picture, this is the pole building. There is the main structure on the farm, and that's where we keep most of the farming equipment. So what are the things that a new farmer needs? Lots of stuff, tractor, tools. There's a picture of here, that's the greenhouse, so a place to start your transplants. We're putting up a second greenhouse because they're so important and useful for getting a jump on the season. And yeah, infrastructure, things like that, the tools, the infrastructure. What else does the farmer need? Land. Land is not very cheap, especially closer in to where the populations of consumers would be, people who need the vegetables to eat or want to buy the flowers or the eggs or whatever it is. So those are lots of barriers for people who are starting farm businesses. And I guess then I'll lead into here. Yeah, we could change. So this is just a general picture. Oh yeah, there's an incubator farmer on one of the tractors. So success during the beginning years of a business are essential for viability. This is across the board for all businesses. The cost of starting a new farm business can be prohibitive because of the expensive land, infrastructure, and equipment. Farming is also physically hard work. We could probably go forward too. That's inside the greenhouse. So farming is physically hard work, and the margins on profit are thin. Without right-sized infrastructure, new farmers face burnout early on. Creating a place where new farmers can access what they need, all in the same place, including mentorship from experienced farmers who are going to be the videos coming up. So this is the farm manager, one of my coworkers. It's really quiet.
And a good way to start farming in the area is at the seed farm. If you don't utilize something like the seed farm, you end up spending quite a lot of money in land, equipment, labor, infrastructure. If you start your farm business at the seed farm, you're able to make a small initial investment, and once that investment is paid off, you're able to make an actual income and hopefully get your business started, relatively quickly without a lot of debt. And you can find out, how well your business is going to work and if you want to continue in agriculture.
So in case you weren't able to hear that, there's a lot of wind also interfering with what he's saying. But what he's saying basically is that for a beginning farmer, it makes a lot of sense to use to access the resources at the seed farm, to rent land from us and to rent equipment. So people who start their businesses do pay for these services, but they're very well priced. We are a nonprofit, and we want to see people succeed. And so what he was talking about is learning and getting your business off the ground while your costs are low, so that you can build up your customer base, and then ideally transition off the seed farm land once you have capital built and a steady income stream, so that you can make that transition into your own self-supporting operation. And then the next video is my other coworker, Neil, who's the assistant.
I really enjoy working at the seed farm because being around all the different types of incubators we have gives me an opportunity to learn from their experiences and figure out different ways to provide access, accommodation, and better resources for people that want to farm different ways on a smaller scale and get their businesses started. On a personal note also, I think I face a lot of barriers in terms of like access to land and knowledge around growing things, and so working here has given me the opportunity to give that back to people and not make the same hard, difficult mistakes that end up costing you, financially and professionally, and then as well as like being in a position where I get to realize like my talents and my experiences, that like I can share those with people actually, and they weren't just like mistakes.
Okay, I just forwarded to the next image, but I'm going to paraphrase what Neil was saying also, which was he was talking about the community of incubator farmers, and that's also that he and the farm manager Brad become part of, so that when you have your farm in proximity to all these other people's projects, and their projects are different than yours, and they're doing something slightly different because they might have different goals. So for instance, we have some farmers who have businesses that are very tractor based, and so they're better at using the tractors, they have more experience, and their production is based on using tractors. We have other farmers who are more hand based, and so they're using a different set of skills and techniques. And we have the seed farm has material resources and tools for both kinds of farming, and we're always trying to get more tools that are applicable to more styles of farming, and just the information sharing, the knowledge sharing. And then one of the things Neil said also was about really appreciating being in that sort of facilitator or mentor role, so that he can impart ways of thinking that will hopefully prevent people from making the same mistakes as him, because mistakes can be really hard and costly. But I guess that's also part of letting go. Yeah. So that's a little bit about what we do. Then something coming up soon for the spring that certainly is on its way. We have an annual plant sale. It's Mother's Day weekend. It's May 7th and 8th, Saturday and Sunday. And we grow lots and lots and lots and lots of starter plants, vegetables and flowers for people's gardens. So this is the pandemic version, which was online, but we're ditching pandemic version and we're live and in person this year. So we're not selling any plants online. You have to come out to the farm and pick them up yourself if you want them. You have to decide that you're not just online shopping for an imaginary garden. You have to touch the plant and say, yes, I want to take you home.
Good plants. I've gotten them a couple times.
Yeah. It's funny, actually, because I didn't know that much about the seed farm. Our farm's on the opposite end, so because we're in Forks Township, and the seed farm's like all the way in Emmaus. And so I didn't know that much about the seed farm before this job came open, and I thought, oh, I'll apply for this job. But I did know about the seed farm's great transplants and had recommended them to friends of mine, because our farm does not sell transplants. We're not in the transplant business. And I would have friends who would always ask me, oh, you're a farmer, do you have transplants? No, we don't sell them, but the seed farm does, and they're really good. And then I would always hear great things back. So now it's really neat being part of the organization that grows the really good transplants that are grown organically, which is rare. So if it's something that you're interested in and you like to support, we're one of those rare organizations that is growing transplants organically. So yeah, these are all just some photos from that might be the last one, I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. And this is another interesting thing about now that the seed farm is part of Second Harvest, which is part of community action of the Lehigh Valley. It's there's a huge support for our little bitty organization. So look at the great graphic designers who made this cool plant sale postcard, and I should have brought some, but we ran out already. But anyway, that's information about the plant sale. Does anybody have questions about the seed farm or what we do or where we are? Yeah.
Are you looking for volunteers to help people transplant the smaller seedlings into bigger pots?
Yeah, potting up. I believe that the volunteer schedule is Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting next week. So we are looking for volunteers for potting up. And I'd be happy to take down your contact information if you were available during the day on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because Farmer Brad and Farmer Neil are going to be leading the volunteers in potting stuff up.
I'm connected with Whole Foods Market, and we nominated the seed farm to get a grant.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Pre-pandemic,
Yeah.
we had a whole bunch of team members at Whole Foods signed up to come out and volunteer, and then the pandemic hit in March.
Oh, bummer.
And everything fell apart. So it's been 2 years. So
It's back together now. Yeah. I'll give you my contact information. I should have brought business cards. Well, I'll do better next time. Yeah, we would love that, definitely. I think all season there are always opportunities that come up for volunteer groups or single people or, just a couple people. Yeah, because after the plant sale comes around, then the farmers, my coworkers, Brad and Neil, they spend a lot of time working with the incubator farmers, fixing equipment, troubleshooting, and doing other mentorship. But they also grow vegetables for a community-supported agriculture program that we have in collaboration with St. Luke's. So they grow vegetables all summer also, all season, and are harvesting. Yeah.
Are you equipped to help someone if they wanted to start like a dairy farm? Do you have that type of?
We don't have any animal agriculture right now. And the seed farm, I would say, isn't really equipped for four-leg animals because of space constraints. So the property that Lehigh County leases to us is 42 acres total, and it is parkland, so everyone's welcome to come out and enjoy it. But the tillable acreage is only about 20 acres, and even then, Farmer Brad says it's only really 16. Because some of the acreage is around ponds, and it really just takes on so much water. But it would be a challenge, I think, to keep the amount of dairy cows in such a small amount of space. Yeah, we're more well suited to growing plants. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's really interesting and a good question, and something that is very relevant because that's, food that people are interested in. And it's another area where there are a lot of barriers to entry for people who would be interested in doing that. And it's not something that we're well equipped to address. Yeah. Sam, right?
I have a question for you. Do you get any kind of funding or help, financial aid, whatever you want to call it, grants from, say, local, like county, state, or federal
I'm not going to be so great at answering that question yet, because I don't know a lot of the financial situation, because the seed farm became a part of this larger nonprofit, and then because I've only been there 3 months, I don't have that information that much. I don't think that the seed farm specifically is getting any funding from federal or state grants right now. I know that in the past it has gotten a competitive federal grant called the Beginning Farmer and Rancher Development Program grant, I think is what it's called. And I know that that was a large one. And then we're looking at maybe applying to that again next year. I'm trying to think. So the large nonprofit that we're a part of, Community Action of the Lehigh Valley, has a grant writing department. So they look at things like that. But farming is really specific too. So I'll be helping to facilitate those sorts of things. Did you have something in mind? Do you have a recommendation for us that I should jot down?
Because there's so many different avenues of funding today and different things that I was just wondering where you people fit into, whether it be government, as far as state, federal, local, county, township, whatever.
Yeah, totally. I'm not aware of any Lehigh County grants that would be applicable. I did come across a Northampton County grant that's really awesome called the Livable Landscapes Grant, and they match funds for projects for communities to beautify their parklands and native plant projects and community garden projects and updating parks, like fixing pavement and things like that. But I haven't seen anything in Lehigh County. I don't know all the ins and outs of how the funding works yet. That'd be next year. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear where you were located.
Yeah, we're
And do you have a online website?
mm-hmm.
Something like that?
Yeah, it's theseedfarm.org and is the website. In Emmaus, I'm just the worst with directions. So we're on Veracruz and we're right by the bridge that goes over 478. Is it 478? 476, sorry. I'm telling you, don't ask me. Don't go that way this time. Oh, wait, turn left. Yeah, exactly. Don't come over the bridge, the Veracruz Bridge over 476, because it's closed right now for construction.
Yeah, 10th Street, and you go south on 10th Street.
Yeah, so,
I'm just gonna nod. I have no idea what you're saying.
you're saying that the overpass
The overpass,
is closed right now?
it's closed for construction, yeah.
So then you would go around.
You have to go around,
Right.
yeah.
And the park that you're by, is that Jasper Park?
It's past Jasper.
Past Jasper, okay.
The seed farm started in 2010, I believe. And it's gone through a bunch of different iterations during that time. I think when it first started, it was a project of the county. Is that right, Dan? And then it became its own independent nonprofit. And now we're part of a bigger nonprofit. And then it just feels in some ways like those pandemic years just disappeared. Like, who knows what happened during those years. There was definitely farming going on, but it's just hard, anyway, that's what happened. Yeah, and so there have been a lot of different things going on out there during that span of years. Some years more incubator farm projects, some years fewer. This year we have more than we've ever had before, so that brings it's joys and challenges because more people are trying to use the space that many fewer people used to use. So figuring out how to make sure that we're all being respectful and responsible and sharing the equipment and upkeep and maintenance. We'll see how that goes this season.
Do you have special bugs that you put in the greenhouse so that helps the plants grow?
Special what?
Bugs.
Oh, I'd have to ask Farmer Brad about that. I haven't seen that yet. A lot of farmers do that, certainly. Ladybugs, release lacewings or ladybugs, beneficial insects that like to eat aphids especially. And bees, yeah, some people keep bees. We don't keep any bees, but they're no. Oh, neat. Great. How far do they fly to forage?
It's probably a couple of miles from here.
Okay.
Oh, they'd be there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Put those flowers up.
We got to get some flowers going. Yeah. I saw a lot of hands go up suddenly. Yeah, there's one in.
Chief, is there like a waiting list for people that want to rent land from you, like that, budding farmers, and also, is there a time limit to how long they can rent land from you before they have to get off on their own?
Those are great questions. So I'm not aware of a waiting list, and I hope that there's not one that I don't know about that's been compiling, some inbox that I haven't found yet. I don't think that there's a waiting list. I think that they've been accepting applications on a rolling basis, and that it seems like the seed farm is entering a period of maybe critical mass now, where it's been around long enough and enough people know about it and have talked about it in other locations that we're going to be getting more applications to use the land. As far as having it, that it started in 2010 and then it's been going through these different fluctuations and iterations, I've seen different numbers as far as how long people can be on the land. And the thing that's popping into my head is maybe 4 years, four or 5 seasons. But I'm not, I've been reading a lot about other incubator farms in other areas of the country, and now I'm wondering if I'm conflating. But I think it's probably, I think we might be at 4 years at this point. Yeah.
As a follow-up to Terry, what's the plot size then?
It really varies. Yeah, it really varies. So some people are on 1/4 of an acre, and the person who has the most acreage is on 4 acres right now. Yeah. Yeah. Go for it. Yeah.
Thank you. Are you in contact or have a partnership of any kind with the Rodale people?
We do. Yeah, we do. So Rodale has an apprenticeship program, and there, in the past couple years, the apprentices at Rodale now, as part of a semester-long project for them to think about, is applying to the seed farm. And it's a mock application that's due at the end, to give to their instructors at Rodale, but then they have it done. And so if they are staying, so the Rodale apprenticeship draws people from all over the country, and I think all around the world even. And so not all of those people necessarily want to stay here when they're done with it. But if they're people who are local or people who decide that they want to stay in Pennsylvania, they have their application done and they can just hand it in to us. So that's one part of the partnership. We also do a lot of educational programming at the seed farm. Rodale also does educational programming, but we invite those apprentices. They're always welcome to come to our educational programming. This Saturday, Today's Wednesday. Yeah, so in a couple days, we partner also with Penn State Agricultural Extension. So there's an agricultural extension educator, Megan Chauner, is a soil science expert, and she's going to be leading a soil testing demonstration at the seed farm. And so 6 of the incubator farmers, hopefully they'll all come. They signed up to come. She's going to facilitate them taking their soil tests for the beginning of the season, and then I'm going to help get those tests sent off. So we're encouraging people to get this information about the land that they're growing on, which they may decide to amend their soil, or they may decide to just sit with this information and see how things go and take, observe and take notes. And then they may make a soil nutrient plan for the next season. Like we would do soil testing again in the fall and see and compare, and then decide if they were going to implement a soil nutrient plan. Or there are lots of different ways to accomplish the same thing. And also there are a lot of things you can try that don't accomplish the thing that you want in farming. So, but yeah, we do have a relationship with Rodale. And Penn State Agriculture Extension, and also PASA, which is Pennsylvania Association of Sustainable Agriculture. They also have an apprenticeship and a pre-apprenticeship program. So I'm hoping to develop more of a relationship with PASA as we do with Rodale, which is, having their apprentices fill out the application or see what that is like, just as practice, not necessarily to apply to our program, but they can apply if they want to. Yeah.
I'm just curious, in the sense of allowing, you get an applicant, you accept them, you give them their parcel. So is it literally, no pun intended, ground up, like they develop their own irrigation?
No, we have a lot of that infrastructure already in place. Yeah.
So what is the infrastructure with regard to water?
Yeah, so we have surface water. There are 2 ponds, and there are pumps that we supply, and then the irrigation lines that come from the pond pump, we supply also. Then that gets to the incubator farmer's field. So then from there, they have to take it from there. But they're also responsible for learning how to use the pump and being able to turn the pump on, because that would get the water to their field.
And is that water tested?
It is, yeah, it's tested, but it's also, we only have drip irrigation, so we don't use sprinklers at all. Yeah.
And I'm just curious, are those ponds spring-fed, or would they be?
Yeah, they seem to be spring-fed, because they don't ever get lower. They don't ever seem to dry or drop. Yeah, even in the dead summer when there hasn't been rain. Yeah, certainly the rain catches in them, and they maybe get higher. I'm not sure, but I'll be observing this year. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. But everything that I've heard the farmers say is that they think they're spring-fed, because they don't seem to drop at all. Yeah, Janelle.
The CSAs, could you say a little more? Do you have CSAs that people, the ordinary person, can purchase into, and how does that work if you do?
Yeah. So the seed farm itself does not have a CSA that's open to the public, because our community-supported agriculture program is in partnership with St. Luke's. So it's open to the St. Luke's employees at 2 of their campuses. And there is a farmer at the seed farm who's in the farm incubator program who has a CSA, though. So if you're looking for a CSA in that area, his farm is called Blackbird Farms, and I think he probably still has space available. I haven't checked in with him lately, but he said he was on target, so I think that means he still has space. Like he's getting, each month he's getting the amount of people signed up that he was hoping for. Yeah. But if you are looking for a CSA, you can also check Buy Fresh, Buy Local of the Greater Lehigh Valley. Has all of the CSA program information listed on it, pretty much that's available. And actually the person who's the former director of Buy Fresh, Buy Local is my boss now because she's become the director of Second Harvest. So we have a strong local food, pro-farmer, pro-small farmer group coalescing now, which is really exciting. Yeah. Any other questions? That's the seed farm. Yeah, it was great. I should have taken notes. I was supposed to take notes. What are the questions people have? Because then I could work them into my talk next time.
Well, it'll be on Facebook.
Yes, I'll go back and watch it and then take notes. Oh, what are all the things that I missed?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No, that was great. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Katie. You are much taller than me. Okay. So yes, May 7th, I'm planning on coming out. I'm excited about that. And never again will I grow things from seed myself. That's too much optimism from my life. I've known. I need a memory to remember to water things. That's so I'm excited for that. So this is our closing, and we hope to do this again next year, but we'll be together in many other ways. So as you leave this space tonight, may God be with you as you think about where you might cultivate, if it's calm, confidence, hope, or any other host of guideposts that you have been working on. May God guide you and be with you in your journey ahead.